Okay, my mic is out of position. Let's go ahead and see if I can't get that better in a better position. There we go, guys. Thank you for coming out and check. Well, what am I doing? I'm like all discombobulated. I normally don't have a stream on Friday night. I can even hear sirens running around outside. But you guys hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. You don't usually get a lot of sirens. Okay, so let's start over. Start from scratch. Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another Wargaming in Miniature video. In this video, we're gonna it's a Wargaming Weekly in the way that it is not normally my Tuesday morning stream, but I am going to stream live tonight. I've got some Hungarians on the table here that I've been working on, and I need to continue on painting these, and that's what I'm going to be doing this evening. Now, if you're watching this live or if you're watching it later, thank you, appreciate you. There's not going to be a whole lot of talking or discussion. Maybe I'll talk about what I'm painting on these figures, but my focus is going to be painting these figures. But if you have a chat and you drop it in the chat box and I see it, I will do my best to answer that. I put some discussions in the description below of things that you might ask about, things that I don't know. I was just trying to come up with some topics to help you guys to spark an interest in asking questions. But if nobody wants to ask any questions, they just want to watch me paint some Hungarians, maybe learn my techniques and my strategies on painting, that would be perfectly fine. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into it. I know I'm a few minutes early. I said on the thing 8:15. I started, I think, 8:10. Okay, the first thing I do is I usually put on a different pair of glasses. These glasses are a little bit higher magnification. Instead of using like a table magnifier, which would just get that I have used and I own, but they seem to just get in the way, especially when they're not long enough. I have this stand, right, and then there's like an arm with a magnifier, and that's as big as it is. It would be maybe 1 foot long. So if I have it off to the table, which is not interfering with the miniatures, and I'm trying to use it to magnify, it doesn't reach far enough. It's like over here. If I had a magnifier that maybe clamped onto a table or something under or to the side, and had an arm on it that was twice as long as the one that I currently have, then that would be okay. But currently I don't have that. Okay, so I'm in the middle of painting boots and officers' jackets. The boots and officers' jackets that I'm using, I'm painting black-gray. Okay, I'm also listening to a popular live stream. I'm trying to reduce the volume over there because I don't want it to distract me from my conversations with you. Okay, and I noticed that my microphone is in the camera. All right. Now I don't have it super zoomed. I want you to be able to see the entire table. And with these glasses, I have a hard time seeing my screen because it's really good magnification for right here. But once you get way out there, I can't see anything. It's all blurry. Now, I am going to mix some more of this up. I hadn't used it all in my palette yet, but I know I was getting close to ending. Now, I don't just go straight paint out of the bottle. I always add a couple of drops of this matte medium. What it does is it helps thin the paint. It also gives it a little bit of translucence, and it extends the paint. It extends the paint. Okay, not like the coverage. Like, what am I trying to say? Like, one drop would act like 2 drops of coverage, of quantity, I guess, in the palette. Okay, so I've come to as I started painting these, I realized that I might or might not be painting 2 of the same figures the same way, because I had a plan that their jack boots would be this black gray, and that their combat boots would be a black brown. But now I think I'm not going to do any black brown combat boots. I think I'm going to do all black gray boots, and if they have wraps or gaiters, then I'll just paint those. So what I need to do is go back over these. Plus, I noticed when I was painting all these figures, I got to this one figure, I think it's this guy right here, and I realized that I hadn't even put any flesh on him. It's like everybody was flesh, and I had done a lot of other painting, but so I pulled this flesh out to help me, remind me that there's a couple of figures out there that I want to touch up their flesh. Because normally what I'll do is I'll paint flesh, I'll make mistakes with maybe other paints, and after I apply the wash, then I'd go in and touch up the flesh to kind of fix any mistakes or anything like that. But not this time. Okay, so let's kind of adjust this a little bit. And then, now if I've already done their black boots, then I won't need to touch them up, obviously. But like this guy, he's got leg wraps, but the bottom of his foot needs to be, or the exposed boot, I should say, needs to be painted. I was going to paint him black brown, but I decided that if I need to after the wash, then I'll go in and touch him up with a little bit of black brown. But initially I think it needs to be this black gray. I don't like painting Germanic, and that's what these boots are, or even Russian, or any World War II black boots. I don't like painting them with black paint because it makes them look unnatural. But the black gray, or even the dark gray, I've got some dark gray, that actually works as well too. It's a really good black color, but it has a little bit of that gray in there. So because all black boots are it's like dye. It's leather dye. It's not actual black. And I don't know if I'm painting off camera, which I might be. Okay, so we'll get a little bit more on camera for you guys. I got this fly in the house and he's buzzing me. I get this little bit of a like he's doing a dive bomb. So this evening isn't really a planned event. I don't have a script or a bunch of topics that I was planning on reading or anything. I just knew that I had some time to paint these models, and I had an opportunity to turn the camera on and share this with you guys. And that's all this is. It's just me taking advantage. Okay, I see some people logging in, logging out. That is okay. I'm just here. If you want to hang out with me, hang out. If you don't want to hang out with me, don't. I mean, if I didn't want to hang out with somebody, I'm not going to hang out with them. Oh my gosh. Okay, these are some tall boots. Well, I'm excited to tell you that my World War II project is still ongoing, right? Of course, because I'm gonna every opportunity I get, I'm gonna work on some World War II models or expand my collection or line or whatever. But I do have this to say, it's not primary right now. It was primary last year because I wanted to get ready for NashCon. But now that NashCon has come and gone, I can relax my World War II project. I don't have to really push on that super hard. I thought about working on another scenario for World War II, but I decided this a couple of months ago actually, that I'm going to put all my effort into my store. For one thing, I'm gonna paint these all on this table right here. These are all part of a commission for a customer. These are not my personal collection. I think I mentioned to somebody that I personally would never have shopped for and bought Hungarians. It's just not an army that I would have collected. But because it's a commission, now I'm getting an opportunity to paint some figures that I probably would never have painted. and I'm into that kind of stuff. So the store would be up front on my to-do lists. All the painting for either the commissions or the or for sale on my store. If and then secondly, I'll be able to really focus on writing my rules. I'm currently writing a set of Napoleonic rules called Marshals and Generals, and it will it needs a lot of work, but I also have a lot of figures that I want to paint for my 15 millimeter Napoleonics, and by freeing up some time from my World War II project, it's going to make it better, or whatever. It's going to mean I'm going to have more opportunities to work on it. Now, some of these Hungarians, their footgear, I don't know if it's the mold or the company's models. They're kind of low quality in the fact that I can't tell if it's supposed to be a gaiter or if it's supposed to be a boot, part of the boot. The Warlord figures seem to be a much better resolution, so I think this gentleman, when he sent me these models, he got some 28 millimeter figures from some other company. I don't know what. I didn't really look at them. Because I don't recognize them as Warlord. Either they were older models, maybe, that's possible, or models from some other model company. Okay, I'm hearing another siren. That one sounds like a fire. So there might be a fire in one of the local houses, or maybe somebody had a heart attack, and you can hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. There might be a, what do they call it, paramedics going out, rescuing them. Yeah, I was going to take these figures and then kind of organize them into which ones had the black boots and which ones had the dark brown. And then I realized I was taking an unusual step. I kind of enjoy the Hungarians in a way, like I said, because they're different. But they have like Russian equipment, British equipment and German equipment, so it's weird. They've got a mixture, so you just gotta do a little research, figure out what the colors of each of those items are supposed to be. And so I've had a little bit of enjoyment coming from doing something I normally don't do. I always do research, but I mean, not for Hungarians. I learned quite a bit. NashCon, I had a pretty good time. I missed the very first game session because I got there right in the middle of the first game session, so I missed that one. I didn't stay on Sunday to play any, so I missed the last game session. So that left me with one on Friday night, which I played in, and then 3 on Saturday. Now Saturday I ran a game session in the first session on Saturday. And then the second session on Saturday, I didn't see anything that I wanted to play. I mean, it was dry. There was no like pickup games. There was no organized games. I had already seen all the dealers. I had already seen and filmed all the tournament tables. So what I wound up doing was going back up to my room. I took a nap, right, for lunch. I went back for lunch, took a nap, and then got ready for the next session. And then I went down and I already knew this, but I went to Joe Collins' table. By the time, and I got there early. I was there 2 hours early to Joe Collins' game. And when I got there, he had already had 14 people signed up for his game. And everybody told me it was full. They said, this game is full, this game is full. And I said, I'm not even listening to these guys. I put my name down. I put a number 15 next to it. And I said, if you can fit me in, I'd love to play in your game. Yeah, and he wound up taking 16 people into his game. So those people that were trying to not get me to sign up, they don't know who I am. They don't know me. I'm just glad I didn't listen to him because that was a really fun game. It was rapid fire. I really don't know the rules for rapid fire, and based on what I played, I probably will never buy rapid fire, and I will never play another game of rapid fire. But Joe runs a good game. And the people I was playing with were good people. Except -1. But I talked about him already, and we're not going to talk about him. Okay, a lot of these guys have already done their boots. That's why I'm just pushing them over. None of these guys have I done their boots. It's just these guys. Even if it's supposed to be a gator, I'm still going to paint it this dark gray because I can always go back in later and touch it up as a gator. Yeah. Their uniform color was a little a little bit of mixing to get the proper Hungarian uniform color. I mixed some like British English uniform with Russian uniform with German uniform to get it to look right. And I finally got it to look right. The downside is I had already done a squad or two of these Hungarians, and I sent them off to, I think I sent them to the same customer. And when he gets these, they might or might not have an exact match, because I'm sure I had to mix that as well. But if it's not an exact match, that's okay. I mean, personally, I think that that's good, because it'll mean those squads will be easier to identify, because they'll have like a slightly off-color uniform. But then again, in history, in real life, there would be off-colored uniforms. People wouldn't always have. Maybe the guys that have been around a while might have a lighter tone than the guys that are brand new. They might have the dark tones. You know, like sun-bleached or something. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Okay, now we're on the figures that I didn't have any paint on. Nice. I'm talking about on their boots. I want to try to get these done this week. This weekend might be a possibility. I might actually get them done this weekend. So now that I'm just painting miniatures, just talking to people, remember that this channel is not only miniature gaming. It is also role-playing, board games, card games, computer games, all different kinds of games. So you might hear me talking about something you're not interested in, or you might actually be interested in it. But I just started a new D&D game. It's a Greek-themed campaign. It is not Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, because we had just completed that last month. And now we're starting a new Greek-themed campaign. But this one is going to be a little bit closer. When I did the Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, like this 2 years ago, I had debated on whether or not I wanted to place it in Greece, or if I wanted to just use it straight out of the module. And I decided I'm just going to use it straight out of the module. We're just going to play the Odyssey of the Dragon Lords as written. And it was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was good. It's a good campaign. I really enjoyed it. I did not enjoy the last chapter. But the first 3/4 of the book or whatever, because there's like 12 chapters, and the first 11 chapters were all excellent material, well written, but that last chapter was not. And I kind of rushed through it in the last month or so. I just kind of, actually it took us maybe 2 months to do the last chapter, because that game was running for about 2 years. And there were some things in that campaign that I liked, of course. And so there's some, because it's a really good campaign, don't get me wrong. It's probably one of the best D&D games that I've ever ran. And it went on really well. And then but I had been working on this Greek campaign, which is not the Odyssey of the Dragonlords, even before that. I just basically said, okay, let's play the Odyssey of the Dragonlords. And now that that's over, I'm stepping back into my Greek campaign, and I'm saying, you know what? I'm just going to, like, take some lessons that I learned from the Odyssey of the Dragonlords and incorporate those lessons and eliminate anything that I didn't like. So basically it gave me it was kind of like a trial run for my Greek campaign. So okay, let's do these kind of quickly. Okay, so I started this campaign, but I made some announcements in the campaign, in the flyer, or I should say the recruiting statements and stuff like that. I made it clear as day. This was emphasized, and you guys, you probably know because you probably saw my videos where I did these announcements. I made it clear as day that it was going to be from 7 p.m. till 11 p.m. 7 to 11, 4 hours of game time each Wednesday night. And I also said, if you can't commit to that, don't make a character. I don't want a wishy-washy, flip-floppy, someone who doesn't attend to the games. Okay, I've got to get in here. Hang on. I've got to concentrate. Yeah, if you can't commit to that time slot, then don't apply. No hard feelings. You know, not everybody can, and I get that. But I didn't want, and the reason why I wanted to be very specific about this is because I was going to live stream it, right? And if I'm live streaming, I want to make sure my players show up on time, are ready to play when the cameras come on, right? And I also put a requirement in to be in my game, you have to have a camera, right? Because of the whole live streaming thingamajigger. My last campaign, the Odyssey of the Dragonlords, I told people this, but I also said, it's okay if you don't have a camera. We'll work you in. It'll be fine. And then I wound up, by the end of the campaign, nobody was on camera. They started, everybody was on camera. And then it gradually, people started to say, I feel uncomfortable being on a camera. Or my camera doesn't work anymore. Or, whatever. It doesn't connect to Discord. Or whatever their excuses were. And it wound up being that the game basically had no cameras, just mine, right? And so this time I made it very clear again that if you don't have a camera, you're not in the game, right? If you can't maintain a camera, you will be booted from the campaign. Okay. And then in our first session, okay, this guy, I'm not going to mention names. If you want, you can go watch the stream and you'll see who it is. But this guy, we make a character, and I specifically schedule 3 gaming sessions to doing nothing but making characters. Because I have a way that I want to make characters, and it's not normal. So I don't want people just to go on to Roll20, make character, and say, this is my character. Because then they wouldn't have any of the background details or any of these special rules that I have for my campaign, which there are many. And so this guy's like, okay, no problem, I'll be there, I'll make character. Well, he showed up, he's on time, he might have even been early, I don't remember. I was very happy, I was very pleased, so he was probably early. And he and a couple other guys made characters. Character creation lasted till about 11 o'clock at night, like I anticipated. Because we started at 7. And yeah, that's right. 4 hours to make 3 characters. Okay, everybody was excited for the game. I told them, all right, I'll see you at the game. Everything was good. Then we start this game at 7 o'clock. We start playing. We play for a while. And it gets close to 9 o'clock. 2 hours later. Oh, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to have to log out pretty soon. What? What? I don't want to have to go find somebody to replace you. If you can't be there on time and stay to the end, I'm going to have to kick you out of my game. And you tell me this now after the first session where everybody, whatever player joins in the middle of the campaign, he's already missed the first session. He's missed that initial what's going on in the world kind of thing. I was super disappointed. Let's just say I was blown away. But because I didn't want to have to make a new character. I didn't want to have to run somebody through our first game session all over again, because I didn't want to have to start over from scratch. I said, okay, I'm willing to start at 6 o'clock instead of 7. I said, we could start at 6, and then you would be able to get out of here by 10 o'clock. Is that okay? Is that good? And he's like, oh man, I, this and that, wishy-washy. And I was like, oh my Lord. He says, I'll try. I was like, what the fuck just happened to my campaign? And it was only day 1. I'm glad it happened on day 1 and not day 25 or whatever. But if it had to happen on day 1 because apparently his schedule, he says, I could probably, maybe, and then one of the other players says, that's not good for him, which I can understand. The other players could have put their foot down and said, no, we agreed to 7 o'clock. But he says he made a compromise. This other player that couldn't show up at 6. He goes, how about 6:15? Can we do 6:15 start time? And then we'll play till 10:15. I said, okay, can you do that? Maybe. I'm so wishy-washy. It upset me. Now, he did get on there and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I misread this and that, the schedule. What? It's posted in like 15 different places. He just wanted in this campaign so bad that he didn't care who he hurt. I was upset. Let's just say I was upset. But I think we came out with an amiable alternative. We're going to start at 6:15, and I'm going to have to keep my eye on this player's attendance. When I say attendance, I really mean like, does he show up late? Does he leave early? I know he wants to play, but if you're going to be late all the time and you're going to leave early all the time, I'm just going to kick him from the game. Not violently, like, you're out. No, nothing like that. I'm just going to let him know, all right, I'm going to move on. I'm going to find another player that can be here at 7 o'clock and last till 11, like the original flyer said. But we're going to try the 6:15 and see if it works. I really want him to play. He seems like a nice dude. Yeah, he seems like he's got a good character concept. He's got, he wants to have a good time, wants to be fun. Everybody likes him. The only problem is his timing. And we tried to, and he's young, okay? Bear with me. He's young. And what's funny is all the other players in my game are, I'm not going to say older, but I'm going to say more mature. And not mature as in, I don't know. It just seems like they've played way more D&D than him. Just to let you know, I used to play D&D, and one of my other players made a comment that brought a lot of memories back. But and I'll the one that agreed to the 6:15. I used to play D&D when I was this guy's age, right? When I was this guy's age, I was in the Army. Okay? I would like to consider that the Army was a pretty physical job employment. I had to get up early in the morning, run, halfway across the world, and not just at a slow jog. We basically sprinted almost the entire way. So when I was his age, I was in the Army. I was in a very physical, I was infantry at the time, airborne infantry actually. And I considered that to be a fairly, now there were soft times, don't get me wrong. There were some times when you get to relax and stuff like that. And there were other times that you had to really put your foot down and work, right? So it was ups and downs. Okay, cool. But his comment was, I have to get up and go to work. And so I can't stay up late at night. Okay. And then I thought back to those days that I was in the Army playing D&D in the day room, as we would call it. And we would play from like 7 p.m. till like 4 a.m. And then I would get like 2 hours of sleep and then have to go to work, in the next day, And did I do this once a week? No. I probably did that 3 or 4 times a week. Stayed up till 4 a.m. regularly. And when this guy said, oh, I have to go to sleep and I have to get up in the morning, I was like, okay, what's going on with this generation? I'm glad to hear that he's dedicated to his job and that he is, takes it seriously and all that. That's a good thing. But then, and I was thinking to myself, but really? Are you seriously giving me the I have to go to bed excuse? And then inside I was giggling to myself, thinking, oh, okay, well, how does the saying go? Hard times make strong men. Strong men make soft times, and soft times make weak men. And that's where I think we're at. I think we're in these soft times making weak men. Or however that saying goes. But this other player chimes in and he says, hey man, I used to play till like early in the wee hours of the morning. And then have to go to work, on the next day. And so he was basically calling him out for his weakness or whatever. And not everybody's built the same way. But when he said that, he elevated, maybe he leveled up in my mind, this player that said what I was thinking. I was like, oh, okay, this guy, he gets it. I understand the start time might be a problem, and that's where his start time is a problem, because you can't just walk out of work to go to a D&D game. If you're at work, you gotta stay till your shift is over. I get that. And he said his shift isn't over until X, Y, and Z, and that's why he liked the fact that it was a later start time, like 7 o'clock. And I was like, exactly. And one of the reasons why I personally wanted to play at 7, not that I couldn't start at noon or play at whatever hour. I I personally like the late start time, and that's why I scheduled it, is so that everybody would have an opportunity to eat their dinner, have it finished, and you could get onto camera. In my Dragon Lords game, we were starting at 5, and I found that I was missing dinner because I was on camera, and I'm not going to have my steak and potatoes in the middle of a D&D game, right? If we're playing, I'm not eating. I can be snacking, yeah, like chips or maybe a candy bar or something, but I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, let me eat my steak and potatoes while, the initiative is being run or whatever. That's just disrespectful to my viewers, is disrespectful to the players. It's unprofessional looking. It's just a disaster. So I said, you know what? If we started at 7, everybody would have a chance to eat. Everyone would have a chance to, get their snacks, their drinks, recover from a good day's work, be ready to play. So that's why I chose 7. And we were playing 5 hours in my Dragon Lords game, but I thought to myself, well, if we start at 7, 5 hours would be like midnight. I think that would be a little too late for, people that have jobs or have a family or whatever. So I said 11. I thought, and I still do think 7 to 11 is the perfect time to run a game without any interruptions. From either be it food or having to go to bed or, putting your kids to sleep or any of that. So I haven't yet, mainly because I haven't thought about it, but I'm going to write this guy a private message on Discord. That's, our voice chatting service. But I'm going to write him a message and let him know that I'm serious. Or maybe you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to target him with it. Okay. I'm glad I'm talking this out with you guys. I appreciate you listening to my rants. But I'm going to send this message to the entire group, and I'm going to try to be very diplomatic about it. I know it's going to be hard, but I also want to be firm. I don't want them to get the impression that if they show up late, it'll be okay. I also don't want them to have the impression that if they leave early, it will be okay. I am taking maybe 8 hours of my day, not a day, 8 hours of my week for this game. I'm either preparing maps, preparing creatures, music even, for this game. And if I can put up, what I guess it's 8 plus, like 12 hours a week. If I can put up that, I might even be doing more. I haven't timed it. Like one night I spent like 3 hours making a map. I know it's crazy, right? But I wanted it to look good. But if I'm spending about, let's just say 10, even though that might not be right, 10 to 12. I don't know how much time it is. But if I'm spending this much time a week on this campaign, I'm not being what's the word? I think that I'm not being unreasonable to my players to be on time and to stay for 4 hours a week. 4. Only 4. They don't have to do anything between games. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to come up with monsters or maps or adventure ideas or NPCs or they don't have to do any of that. They just get to sit back and ride and have fun. They just have to sit on camera. They don't even have to do anything. They just have to, when they're playing, all they have to do is just sit there. I mean, I would prefer them to interact and play with, the rest of the players. They don't have to go out of their way to make a I'm just saying they don't have any thinking to do. All they have to do is just play. That's not really true. That's not true. It does take thinking to play, but what I'm trying to say is they don't have to create anything. That's not true either. They probably do. So I'm not going to say it that way. I'm gonna have to word it in a way that I feel diplomatic, where I'm not really calling anybody out. I just want them to know that I want them to respect my time and the other players' times, and not to, and if they, I want them to be in the game. I want them to play. I think they're all doing okay so far. We've only had one session, so I don't know what's going on really with all the players. Yeah, and there's one more thing I want to say about that campaign. It doesn't have anything to do with the players. Well, maybe it does a little bit. This came in from the chat on the live stream, and I think the guy is a troll. He jumped into the video. He watched, I don't know how much he watched, but it couldn't have been much, because he didn't understand what was going on, and he negatively commented that the players weren't being allowed to role play, and he was mad that I didn't let them fight amongst themselves. He implied that character arguments create good role playing, and I was like, I don't care if these guys argue about stuff. First of all, I don't care if they argue, but I want them to understand the purpose and the theme of the campaign. And when the players got to a certain part where they were allowing their individuality to hinder the start of the game, I had to step in and remind them what was going on. And by doing so, this guy thinks that I was hampering their ability to role play. And I might have been. But but that's okay, because once the players were brought back into, all I had to do was remind them, this was the game, this is what's going on in the game, this is what's happening, now role play. And once I did that, it seemed like everything fell into place. Everything was running smoothly. The players were, role-playing their characters, etc., etc. And so that was good. But this troll, when he got onto the stream, he said, role-playing RIP. Like I killed the role-playing. Well, it's true, I did, because it was going in a bad direction. And on day one, I could understand where people are going to be a little misguided, or a little like not understanding what's going on or whatever. So I felt like it was getting out of control, getting out of hand. So I needed to step in and kind of just remind them of the course that the campaign was going. But once I did that, everything was good. So I commented to this guy that, basically, maybe that's the kind of game you like to play in, is a one with total chaos and everybody running around doing their own thing. But that's not the kind of game that this is. This is not a individual game. D&D is not a game of individuals, and it is a party game. It is a game of you and your friends getting together and teaming up and overcoming obstacles and challenges that are created by the game master. But that doesn't mean you can't be an individual. It just means you do need to be somewhat of a team player. And I said, but if that's the kind of game you like to play, where everybody's at each other's throats, then go ahead and go play that. That's not my game. What do we got? British history? Hey, hello, man. I didn't see the chat till just now. I'm actually, if you didn't know, I'm painting Hungarians. And I'm talking about my D&D campaign. Which really, I think I said everything about it. I basically just replied to his comment. And then afterwards, I realized he was trolling me. And I bit. I should have just said, thanks for your comment. Love the fact that you watched the video. That's what I should have said. I shouldn't have attacked him, or I shouldn't have tried to defend myself. I'm sure it's going to spark another comment from him. And if it does, that's when I'm going to stop myself and just kill with kindness. I'm just going to be like, all right, thank you. Appreciate your input. Not everybody likes to play the same way you play. We like to play the correct way. I guess that would be attacking him. I don't know. I just can't help it. I would just have to attack him. I just don't like idiots. So I'm excited to maybe get these Hungarians finished. They are a commission. I'm painting them for a customer of mine. Speaking of which, there's this guy that played in my game this last weekend at NashCon, and he asked me, "Hey, do you know this guy?" Speaking of the guy that commissioned me to paint these, and I was like, "Yeah, what's going on?" Oh, you know him too, or whatever. Are you his friend, or are you from his area, or do you play with him, or whatever? I don't remember what I said, but he was like, "No, no, no, none of that. I'm his brother." And I was like, "Oh, wow. Oh, well, okay then. Small world." Because the guy that commissioned me to paint these does not live anywhere in this area. And his brother was only down here in Tennessee. I'm in Tennessee. He was only in Tennessee because of his job. And he took the weekend to come over to the convention. And found me, joined my game, played, and then told me he was his brother. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. Seemed like a nice guy. Now, I've got my audio turned off for my desktop, so you guys shouldn't be able to hear whatever I've got running on the background that I'm listening to. Copyright reasons, I don't want to have that on the stream while I'm painting and you're listening and all that. But it's coming to an end, so I will need to switch it out with something else. Whoa, drop. Okay. Okay, he's good. Let me go ahead. They're not done, but I'm going to go ahead and switch it out. And I can't see anything because I've got my painting glasses on. But if I click on that instead. Okay, I can listen to that as a background noise. I started the stream, I don't know, around 8 o'clock, 8:15, and it's 9 something, so we've been on for about an hour. It's very weird. I've been on for an hour, and I've only been painting boots. There is too many figures here. I don't like painting this many figures at once. I personally do not like commissions that are super large. But I love commissions that are super large because of the money. But I don't like commissions that are super large because of the time it takes me to paint them. Boo-hoo, right? Quit my whining. Just get to it. Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir, no, sir. Right away, sir. So my D&D game is a Greek campaign. Bronze Age Greek. And we've got mythological creatures, like minotaurs and centaurs, manticore. But it's also got some D&D monsters in it. Not really. Nothing's like super out of the ordinary. Like orcs, elves. Undead. Yeah. But I am trying to incorporate Greek history, Greek mythology, absolutely, into this. Am I modifying the history? Yes, because I don't want the players to say, "Oh, like on this day Perseus did this, and on this day, you know, Hercules was here doing his thing. I don't want that kind of stuff happening. So I have to kind of take the universe, the Greek mythology, and the world of Earth, and kind of just modify it so the players can be the heroes and not some factual, actual hero. So I don't want them. So there's no real date system that I'm using. I am using the months of the year, which should be no problem at all, but not the year, because I'm sure I can go in and look and see exactly how they tracked the years. I suspect, I don't know this for a fact, but something in the back of my mind is telling me that they tracked the years based on the current king on the throne in their city state. So, like, this would be like year 3 of King Leonidas's reign, that kind of stuff, and you know, not 500 BC because there's no C to BB. Because that doesn't happen for a bunch more years. So we can't count backwards. Even though I told the players approximately where they're approximately at 500 BC, but not precisely. And if I want something to happen in my campaign that happened in 300 BC, but I also want something that happened in 700 BC, I'll just throw it all together. I'll put it all in the same year. I don't care. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys that are in the stream coming in, hanging out with me, relaxing. I know everybody's being very quiet. Nobody's really chit-chatting or blowing up my chat. That's fine. These streams are normally Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. and I just had an urge to get on here and stream a little bit live tonight. I've got some other things planned for this evening, but it's not going to be live. I'm going to record off, it won't be live. It'll be recorded, and then I'll edit it and upload it later. Like, I think I'm going to do my file set next, soon. And then I'll do probably my Mass Effect playthrough on XCOM. Okay, that's all the boots. They're boots. And I found that Trader Green is just a little bit lighter than... Okay, wait. Okay, yeah, I think that's right. Okay, so these uniforms are a mixture of Russian uniform and English uniform. So these uniforms are a blend of these two colors. And I found that some of these guys are wearing uh, capes, or I guess they would be for camouflage, or for winter weather or rain. And I found that uh, this color, which is a P3 color, it's Trader Green, will work really well as that color, because I've gone through the uniforms and I've kind of found what colors everything is, and tried to equate it to a paint. If I don't have the paint, then I would have to equate it to a blend of two paints or three paints even. On like these anti-tank guns, they're actually a blend of three paints, which I think I've already put away. But these guys are actually carrying some bedrolls, or what do you call them? I guess they're ponchos or whatever, like wrapped on, like around his backpack, like old World War One style. And that's actually going to be field gray. The Yeah, so those are going to be field gray. Trader Green is going to be on like these capes, and maybe the big ones that are bedroll types that are over the shoulder and tied at the waist. That's going to be Trader Green. But the little ones, the little ponchos and stuff like that, bedrolls or whatever these things are, on the backs of their gear, it's going to be Field Army, Field Gray, German Field Army, Field Gray. Wait, it's not how it's worded. German Army Field Gray. Yeah, but we know what it is. I actually have like 4 different German Field Grays, and yeah, like this is the Warlord Games, which I think is an Army Painter Rapid Deployment. Yeah, it's the Army Painter War Paints. So that's their Field Gray. And then this is Vallejo Field Gray. And you can see there's a difference in color. And then if I was to take a new model color, because this one's older, but if I take a newer one, you can see it even has a different color. It looks like, I don't know if you can really see that on camera, but, and then there's the war paints directly from Army Painter that's not blended for Warlord. It's also a different field gray, and it is even more gray. So we got like this light gray, like a gray green, a dark gray, and like a green gray. It's a lot. And then I even have shoot, I don't know. There's like tanker field gray. What is this? Yeah, here's green gray, right? And that falls in there, right? So I can't rely when someone says, "Oh, just use field." I do a lot of research, and I look at other people's painting, like ideas or techniques or stuff. I do a lot of that. I would say I spend a good hour or two a day doing that every day. But I don't take it for granted. I don't just take it and say, "Okay, that's exactly what that is. Let's do that." If they say use Vallejo green gray, I'll be like, okay, so his his intention was for me to use this color. But when I look at the actual item and I see that it's this color, I don't paint it that. I paint it this. I paint it actual colors. But I do like to see what other people have to say. Same as me. You don't want to take whatever I say with a grain of salt either. You want to make sure you think for yourself. Right? Right. So, not this. These are both Army painters, apparently. This one is just the Warlord Games version, and this is the War Paints version, but they're still both Army painter paints. So, and I can see that the gray is a little bit darker here, and the green is a little bit darker here. But I found this color is an actual bedrolly blanket poncho color. This is actually a good one for the Hungarians. Rifles, I think I'm going to use beige brown. I've started using beige brown exclusively on wood stock of weapons, unless I need it to be a little darker. In that case, I might use an actual brown. That's that's beige brown. You can see it's a really good color. I like it. These guys also have haversacks. I was thinking I was going to use this light gray on the haversacks, because it's when it comes out, it almost comes out white, but it's got a little gray tint to it. And my understanding is the haversacks were a little off-white. They weren't beige. They were more gray. So I'm going to use that. These have all been used. Brass, gunmetal. I got light earth here for... I'm trying to remember. Why do I have light earth here? I think it was going to be the slings. Not straps, but the slings themselves, I think, were light gray. I also have a camouflage, a German camouflage beige, which I debated on whether or not I was going to use that on their haversacks or not. Which I still haven't really decided if I was going to use the beige versus the gray. I'll have to relook at the items and double check that my haversacks are right. I'm trying to think of some things. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to use the... Yeah, before I start painting anything tomorrow, I think I'm going to actually spend some time cleaning my brushes. I think. Okay, this is flesh. This is Midland flesh. A lot of times I will just use, flesh tone or flat flesh, or sometimes I'll even use basic skin tone. Just depends on the situation. Barbarian flesh, and what's this other one? Tanned flesh. I find these to be just a little bit too dark for me. They're good for Romans and Carthaginians and stuff like that, but not for... And they might be okay for Germans, but I want the Germans to be just a slightly lighter tone. But I don't want it to be too basic. And I like this because it's pre-mixed. I don't have to add water, stir, and all that stuff. And it's quick. You just open it up and paint straight from the bottle. Now, as you can see, these guys all have flesh already. But what I'm doing is I'm doing a little flesh touch-up right now. I don't have to paint anything flesh on a figure. I'm just double checking to see if I haven't made any mistakes. and paint it on top of these guys' flesh. In the past, and the only reason why I'm doing that is because there's a model over here that has no flesh on it, and that's why I decided to bust it out right now. Normally, I wouldn't do this right now. Normally, I would do it after the wash process. I would wash and then come back and see if I need to touch up the flesh. Give it some highlights or, you know, whatever. Yeah, these guys are all doing okay on their fleshes. Oh, wait, that guy could actually use a little bit of a touch up right there. Yep. Yeah, so I, as you might know, I paint commission, and I also paint for my store. If I paint commission, it's best for you to contact me, and then I will reply with my fees. My fees do change over time, so like for some customers they've gone up, and for some other customers they've gone down. Not because of the customer, it's just because of the timing of when they commissioned me to paint. So yeah, request a price before you just start sending me models. Yeah, this guy needs to be touched up. Painted a little bit of that helmet green on his face. Okay, that's fixed. And what I normally charge for is my painting time plus the cost of the miniature. And I usually don't charge for shipping or basing. I'll base a figure for, you know, with flock, no additional charge. So that's not even a consideration in my pricing. I don't worry about flock as part of my pricing chart. But if you have the model already and you want to send it to me and then have me paint it and send it back, that's fine. That's perfect, because then I don't have to charge you for the cost of the model. I only charge you the cost of the painting, right? It basically winds up being the exact same cost because you had to buy the model in the first place to send it to me. But I'll let you know, if it's a model like this with an anti-tank gun, let's say, that I have to assemble, then assembly is part of that charge, but it's not a lot. I basically will round charges off. So as an example, let's say, just as an example, this one anti-tank gun comes with a crew of 3, let's say, if it does. I don't remember, but I think it does come with a crew of 3. So if I have to buy it or take it off of my store, which is technically you're buying it, right? Technically. If I have to do that, and let's say this anti-tank gun cost, I don't even know, I'm just pulling a number out of the top of my head. Let's say this thing costs $20, right? Well, I'm going to charge you approximately $5 per figure to paint, plus the $20. So $15 plus $20 for the set, and then I charge $5. I consider the gun, whatever it might be, a mortar, anti-tank gun, a mace launcher, a machine gun, or whatever. I consider that to be a figure, so that's another $5 approximately. So right now we're looking at 4 individuals, and the gun is $20, and the set is $20. So this anti-tank gun, when finished with a crew of 3, flocked, based, painted, and shipped, is $40. I consider that to be well within acceptable pricing. I think it's a steal to get me to paint something for you for $5 per figure. And that was with me assembling it and flocking and basing and all that. Okay, he didn't really need it. I was just nervous painting. Let me find this guy. Okay, it's this guy. He needed to have his hands painted. Because apparently I just overlooked it when I painted his face. Okay. And that's with a 28mm model. 15s and 18s, they're just done a little bit differently. Vehicles, of course, are done a little bit differently. But now let's say he had this anti-tank gun already pre-assembled, all the figures mounted on their own bases, and he sent them to me like that. In that case, you would get away with this model only being $20, right? Because I'm only charging for the painting, $5 per figure. Now, I have charged $6 per figure in the past, but lately it's just been $5 free shipping. Currently the price is $5 free shipping. So I don't know how much all this will be. I can sit down and count the figures and multiply by 5, but that discounts the cost of the models that I had to buy. Which I did. I actually had to buy some of these because I didn't have them in stock and he didn't ship them to me. He gave me a list, said, hey, I need these. So I went out and bought them. And so then I will go to those invoices. To be honest, I will go to those invoices and find out exactly how much I paid for them, because like if I get a deal, then I'll relate that to you guys. You'll get the deal as well. But if I had to pay extra, I don't know why I would, then I would also relate that to you. I try not to, because I'm always looking for the best deals. That's why sometimes it's better just to buy it yourself and just ship it to me. Then we don't have to worry about any of that cost of the items. Yeah, most of these guys don't need any flesh touch-up. I'm just looking at them because I remember when I was painting some helmets, I accidentally stroked across their face giving them some dark green coverage. And others, like it just looks like I missed something, or it's just good to double check. But I normally do this, to be honest, I normally do this after I wash them, because it helps clean up the wash too, because wash sometimes puddles. Like this is a mace launcher. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a big, huge monster shell of a rocket. It's like a two-shot Nebelwerfer man portable. I mean, it's super small, super short, only a couple of feet tall. It's an interesting idea. It's like a super large grenade launcher, maybe you could call it that, or a mortar. I don't know. I don't know what the concept is. Yeah, some of these guys need some hair. I'm noticing that. I've got some, like the officers have some long hair. And I like to paint the hair before I start getting into the detail of the pouches and packs and stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what order you paint them in. Yeah, some of these officers are wearing like these black jackets. I thought that was pretty cool. Black leather jackets. Oh, look at that grenade right there. Okay. I'm going to have to get that guy painted. Not with flesh, but... And a lot of these Hungarians, I'm going to say more than half of them, have like a barber quartet mustache. They got granddad's mustache. Like, see, this guy doesn't, but that last guy did. I think it's about 50%. Oh, yep, like this guy's back of his hand. Right here, he had some uniform paint on it. And that's one reason why you touch it up. Okay, that looks good. And I like this color combo that I did with the English uniform and the Russian uniform mixed together. It really makes a nice looking Hungarian uniform color. But then again, that's just me being happy with my own work. Egotistical and all that, you know. Okay. See, like this guy's carrying a Panzerschreck. Yeah, and they're wearing like German helmets. And like that anti-tank gun is definitely a German. It's a PaK 36. So they've got a lot of German gear, but they also have British gear and Russian gear. Oh, yeah. Paint on the face. Alright, you're fixed. See? Easy fixes. I feel like I can have these finished tomorrow. Just not tonight. I'm not going to have these guys finished tonight. Oh, the back of his wrist. Okay. Yep, when I went to paint the Panzerschreck, it looks like I got it on his hand. Alright, that looks good. And this is a fairly large brush for this detailing that I'm trying to do. I think it's a 1. Might even be a 2. And these are some of my favorite brushes. They've lasted me the longest. If I buy any more brushes, or let me rephrase that, when I buy more brushes, it'll be more of these. These are the best brushes. I've had this set of brushes for over a year now, and all of them, well, minus maybe one, still has a super fine tip on them. Okay, that guy needed a lot of work. Okay. He's good. He's good. Okay. Okay, that works. Okay, I didn't get it on the hands on that one. Okay. Flying through these guys. Okay, now I think this guy's a medic. He's got like this vest on, and he's carrying a bag in his hand. That vest, I think, should be white with a red cross on it. I'm going to have to double check that, though. But if it is white, I'm not painting it white. I don't paint anything white or black. Not unless I really need to. I'll paint it an off-white of some kind. Maybe a vintage white or a beige. But beige is too tan, so I'll probably do a vintage white. And then again, I might just paint it white because the wash will bring it down. Yeah, I might just do that. Might just paint it white. Okay, all the flesh has been updated and touched up. So if I had any uniforms bleed over onto their hands or face, that's all fixed. Good. Okay. I think I'm going to paint their raincoats. I'm going for easy things. That's an apple chamomile from Stash. Okay. Raincoats. Yep, that's going to be the Trader Green here. Oh, I just ran over you. Okay, with my elbow. Or is it supposed to be Battle Dress Green? Oh no. I don't think it's supposed to be Trader Green. I think it's supposed to be Battle Dress Green. Oh no. Okay. Nope, Trader Green. Okay, it's not Battle Dress Green. Whew. I was right. All right. starting to sweat. I don't know if it's the temperature in the house or if I'm just getting nervous. No, I don't know. I'm just playing. But I am sweating, or at least it's getting warm. I'm not going to use this fine tip one. I think I'm going to have to clean my brushes soon. I was thinking I was going to do that in the morning, but I might just do that next after I paint this. I have a specific way that I clean my brushes between months. Usually it's a monthly thing. I'll take my brushes and I'll sit down and I'll power wash them. I have some brush soap. I have brush acetone. I have brush cleaning solution. I have water. So we'll get into that. Okay, we'll use this one. These aren't bad, but they're not those. These are Transton. Transton? Yeah, Transon. Transon is those green ones, and they are awesome. Okay. There should only be about 5 or 6 guys with these raincoats. Yep, that's the right color. And of course these colors are never the final color because you have to wash, and then when you're done with washing, you go back in and touch things that you want to have highlighted. Yeah, this raincoat's gonna look good. Okay. Maybe a little bit of the inside of this coat. Okay. Just to focus a little bit. I don't know if that will help you. I can't focus anything with these glasses on the screen, so it looks okay. Okay, so let's take, okay, there's one. Because there's not a whole lot that have these raincoats on. But there are a few. Now, if these were airborne troops, which these are not, then their raincoats would be camouflaged. Because my research showed that the Hungarian paratroopers had their camouflage raincoats. But the line, regular infantry guys, they just had solid color. I guess it was easier to make, or they bought them. Because I think the Hungarians didn't really make any of their gear. I think they bought from all these different nations. Okay. Yeah, and I can see that that's darkening up to a really dark gray, which is exactly what it's supposed to be. It's working perfect. Okay. I don't see. I know there's more. I'm just having a... Wait, this guy's hiding behind a coat. Okay, this guy looks like he's wearing a Batman, or no, maybe a Superman cape. Because it's much shorter, or it's the wrong size. They issued him the wrong size. Like those go down to like their knees, where this guy, his only goes down to his thigh. Okay, so that's the outside. See, as it dries, it turns into the correct color. Loving it. Because it's going on greener than I wished. But just glancing down at these guys, it's turning into the right. It's turning into the right color. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. Okay, so if I look down from the top, makes it a little bit easier to find these raincoats. I don't know if there are any more. I don't know exactly how many there are. I was thinking 5, but this is the 4th one. It could have been just 4. I don't know. I'm going to have to go in and look again. Yep, this guy's got a full-length raincoat. Goes down to his knees. So, for those of you that are interested in my Napoleonic rules, I have kind of stepped away from those for the last week or so because of the convention, and now that I'm back from the convention, I really want to commit my time to knocking out these commissions. I still have some 29th Infantry that I need to do after this, but I want to get these kind of knocked out and out of the way. But I am looking forward to maybe in the future getting some Warlord Games Epic Guard Cab. I noticed there is a pre-order form for me to order these Guard Cab, but I'm not going to pre-order it and wait for it to come out, because all my pre-orders in the past have always come up a bust. Okay, I'm really scouring this, and I don't see any more raincoats. Yep, I don't see any more raincoats. Okay, so now I'm going to be looking for over the shoulder. I don't think there's any over the shoulders. Okay, I'm looking at this pack layout. Yeah, these I think are supposed to be the field gray. Yep, I think that's it for the Trader Green, which I think is kind of like a version of like a midway between Russian green and Russian uniform green, that is, and field gray. I think it's kind of a midpoint of that. Okay. Okay, brush cleaning. I think that's what we're gonna do. I was like almost got sucked into doing some haversacks, but I think I can do those after brush cleaning. Okay. Now this company, this Pro Art, these detailed brushes here, these are really good brushes as well. They're, I would put them number 2 on my list of brushes. The Transcend brushes are number 1. I'm like impressed by them, by the quality and the time that they've lasted, and I use them pretty much exclusively, so those are pretty much the only ones I'm going to need to clean, because these other brushes look like I don't even need to clean them, mainly because they still have the I use like a brush soap at the end to so when I form the bristles, the I leave a residue of brush soap. Here, I'll show you one. This I can tell has brush soap on it, and it keeps the bristles like super sharp and detailed, you know. You wouldn't be able to see it if I brought it in close, because I don't think the focus is very good at this range. But yeah, you can tell it's got this soap on the flume. And it's a pretty sharp. So because it still has soap on it, I don't need to redo it. These guys are all have been used, except for maybe this guy. Nope, that guy hasn't been used. Okay, I'll clean that. Now this is a Games Workshop brush that I've had for, I don't know, 30 years. Still works. It's pretty good. I haven't tried the Army Painter brushes. I'm afraid because they're like $10 each. Where this Transcend set right here cost me like $10, and you get like 7 brushes. So I don't know. And it goes down to 5.0. 5.0 is their smallest brush on this, and that's kind of, that one's seen better days. He's going to need to get reworked. Okay, so let's just try to rework all of these brushes. Set up my table so that I don't, so I can push these out of the way. Don't want them to be involved in this. I don't know, I might not have very much room. That's alright, we'll figure it out. I just had some free time to work on these models, and I had the opportunity to turn my camera on, so everybody gets the benefit. You guys get to keep me company, I get to keep you company. They're still drying, I suppose. They're probably already dry, but yeah, I left this guy's horn. I'm going to paint it brass. It's the only thing out here that's brass. Alright, so I got this spot right here. Okay, bear with me. I have to go grab my coffee cup. I have to boil some water, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got the kettle going. Get some water boiling. So I got some mineral spirits. I've got brush wash. And then I'm going to have some boiling water. Because it's going to be boiling, I think I will want to put it on a thing. This is a kind of a, oh yeah, forgot my soap. And my brush soap. Okay, so it's going to be like a 3-step process. It's pretty much going to be hot water is going to cause these bristles to open up, and then basically I'm just going to do a hot water clean on these guys, and then I'm going to dump the water. Use a probably mineral spirits. I almost never use this. maybe I should use this because it's low and I could probably get rid of it. But and then I'll go back to a water wash as kind of a rinse. Okay, that should be boiling. Here we go. Oh yeah, and a paper towel. Okay, let's get rid of this. And then this is a paper towel where it's just going to rest. Okay. And it only takes a second for the bristles to open up. And I realize I've got to do this kind of quickly or this water will cool off. And I don't want it to cool off. I want it to stay, or I want everything to benefit from the super hot water. Okay. What I was just doing there on both of these, not really trying to clean with the soap. That's actually the last step. I was basically just trying to get some soap in the hot water, really. That's all I wanted to do to give it its initial soaking. Okay, now I'm just going to go to the hot water on each of these. Is there a holiday this weekend? It's next weekend, right? The reason why I ask is because I hear fireworks. That's it. Now I wish there was a way that I could hang these brushes in boiling water and like microwave it or heat it up on the stove or something like that. That would be best. I've considered getting like a jewelry cleaner, you know, the one that vibrates and the water, you know, the sonic cleaning or whatever. That would be really good. Okay, this is a brush that probably needs a little bit more tender loving care. Yeah, these 5.0s are like really small brushes. Great for detailing. I know it's kind of late for some people out there, but like if you're in the UK, then it might be very early for you. Or if you're in Australia, it might be very early for you. I don't know. See, that's already reconstituted down to like a super fine tip point. I mean, I don't know if you can see that. The focus is near. You want me to? I'll turn autofocus on. There, autofocus. See, that's like a wonder. Come on, camera. You should be able to autofocus now. And whatever, whether autofocus is working or not. Okay, let's not let this water cool off. I'm gonna dump it. Because I'm only using 1 cup, right? So I got to dump the water. I'm gonna put my acetone in here, and then I'll take a little bit of. Oh, okay, that's cleaned off really well. Okay. Let's take a look at this Games Workshop brush. A lot of times I'll sit down and I'll clean all my brushes, but I do that once a month. But right now I felt like a couple of these needed cleaning after today's painting. Maybe I should do it twice a month. Because normally just water and soap in a brush. I don't know if you could see that. I'm gonna pick it up and carry it over here. I've got this brush bowl where I have soap and water in there, and then I can hang brushes in there, or that's how I normally clean my brushes on a day-to-day, just after each color or whatever. But sometimes you need that power washing, and that's what I'm doing right now. Yeah, this brush might not recover. Yeah, he's a 5.0 as well. He doesn't look like he wants to recover. This one's got soap on it, but looks like it's not a fine tip point. That's a 10.0, really? I very rarely will use a 10. Sometimes, like if I need to do a button. Yeah, that's super fine tip. Okay. Let's get this guy in there. He looks like he needed a little work. And then I've also got some of these really cheap brushes. They're like 10 cents a piece. Mainly just to do work that I don't mind throwing the brush away immediately after the work. Like putting texture on a model or brushing on Elmer's glue or something like that. All right. Because I can clean them, but they're not like fine tip in any stretch of the imagination. Okay, So those guys right there are all prepared or ready for the next step. Let me dump the water. Be right back. All right, while I was in there, I went ahead and refilled the kettle just so that it would be it would have water when we got to the last step. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use this crud cutter brush cleaner that I've had for a couple years. I bought this when I bought that brush cup over there, you know, because what I thought I was going to do was fill that cup with this all the time, and that would have became super expensive. I realized after like the first time I had to clean my brushes, I was like, no way, that's going to be like $100 a month just to do that. I was like, nope, not going to do that. Okay, this is over 32 ounces. Okay, nice. I don't need a whole lot. I just need enough to get the tips of the bristles coated. Okay, so now I'm letting that, so you can see I'm scooting it a little bit to the right. I'm letting that, I'm not rinsing it off. I'm soaking it, letting it sit. It should be like soaking into the bristles or whatever remaining paint, eating away at it. Getting up in the flume, hopefully. But it's weak. This is not it's not an acid. Well, it is an acid, but it's like super gentle. I could probably leave it on there permanently and it would not damage anything. That's one reason why I don't like it that much, because I like my stuff to be strong and working, you know, to work right away. So far, these brushes that I'm working on are coming out really good. I'm very pleased with the results. Just see if we can keep this going. Not jinx myself. Yeah, one of these 5.0 brushes really needs some TLC. The bristles are split. Hopefully I can bring it back to life. Now I don't know how many of you out there like buy brushes, but you could go to a shop like Walmart or Hobby Lobby or something. You could find a paintbrush that costs like $1. Bring it home. You could paint some miniatures. Your miniatures are going to look like crap. And it's not because you're a bad painter. It's just because you got a bad tool. If you go to a game store and you pay like $10 for a brush, then you're going to have a very good paint job, or it'll help, depending on how good a painter you are. But it won't last, right? It's only going to last 6 months, a few months, right, or whatever. And so you have to kind of balance at what level of paintbrush do you want, based on how much you want to pay for that paintbrush, for how long it's going to last, and the quality of the paint job that you can get out of that brush. I think a $10 paintbrush, to me personally, it could be the best paintbrush in the universe. That's still too expensive for me. For me, it's too expensive. A $1 paintbrush is way too inexpensive. It's too cheap. It's not going to work as good as maybe a $5 or $6, $7 paintbrush is pretty much about the limit that I will pay for a paintbrush. But if you can find a set like these Transon, which I recently found, is about, I don't know how much they are. I think they're about $14 for a pack of 7. So that's like $2 a brush, approximately, maybe $3 a brush. That's a really good deal if it's a good brush, and they are. They're good brushes. I would say they're probably, at least value-wise, I would say they're at least a $7 value, and you're only paying about $3. And then if you can get the brush to last longer due to cleaning and care and taking care of your brush and not painting like a wild man, then you can even extend your value even further. So that's why I clean my brushes with a power wash. I call it a power wash. Once a month. Because I want my brushes to last, because I'm a miser. I want every dollar counts for me, you know. Okay, I think I might have repaired that brush. I don't know about this guy. He's got some hairs exposed. Like 1 or 2 of his bristles are going off to the left. I gotta pick something. All right, that's good. Okay, so these guys are going to just sit, soak in the, because I didn't brush them off or clean them off. It says it works on latex and enamel paints, oil, latex, and enamel. That's awesome. But to me, it seems like it's a very mild, it's a mild. See, now it says it removes dried paint from most types of paint applicators. It reconditions synthetic bristle brushes and roller covers. It's water-based and it's biodegradable, which tells me it's not very strong. Contains water, alcohol, what is all this? I don't know. Citric acid? Okay, interesting. It's an eye irritant. Don't let your kids drink it. Okay. And it's in 2 languages. Yeah. I'm going to let those guys sit long enough for me to clean this and add boiling water back to it. And I'll come back for the last step of cleaning my brushes. Okay, it's taking a minute. So I'm going to put this out of the way. All right. Looking at my, looking at what do they call that? My analytics. I see that there's a lot of people drop in. They stay for like a couple of minutes and then they drop out. And we get regular, like a lot. Like I've been live for almost 2 hours, over 2 hours. So it looks like there's been like over 25 people that have dropped in and dropped out. And the average view time is 5 minutes. so either I'm not that I'm not that encapsulating or whatever you want to call it, but also what that means is, nobody's chatting with me, nobody's talking. I feel so lonely. No, I'm playing. I don't care. But I'm just noticing there's no chatting going on, and that's probably because there's not many people in the chat. Okay, I think I'm hearing boiling. Okay, let me go grab that. Okay, it wasn't boiling, it was just simmering, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be super hot because it's not the first step of the process, it's the last step. Okay, and gotta get my sleeves rolled up. All right, gotta open this soap. Here we go. One brush at a time. Getting the, what do you call it, the crud cutter off of there. Getting some soap on there. And then what I do is I will roll it between my fingers along the edge of the side of the container to help, loosen any paint or whatever that might be. And then okay, that looks like a fine tip. Okay. And then once it gets to a nice tip, I'll just let it sit and dry like that. That's a nice point. I don't have to mess with it. Okay. This is one of my 10-Os. No, it's a 5-0. Okay, wow. Oh, that's right. I don't have 10-Os in the transom. Okay, that looks reconstituted. Man, focus sucks up close. Okay, hang on. I did turn on autofocus, didn't I? I did. Let's try this. I can manually focus it up this close, but autofocus doesn't want to work that close. Okay. I can't grab it. Oh, because I have an auto. Dooey! Okay, well I turned off autofocus, so. Now I'm just playing with focus. There we go. I guess it's just hard to see. Okay, that's just hard to see. Yeah, looks good. Okay, that looks good. That one was hard to see because it's like a super fine tip. This guy doesn't look like he needs any help. This guy looks like he's good to go. Okay, but I'm going to clean the oil off of it. Excuse me. There's like this loose hair off this brush. There we go. Good. Oh wow, I saw the paint just coming off on this white towel. This one really needed the work. Wow, paint. Okay, this one really needed the work. I might have to do this a couple of times. This brush is, paint's just coming off of it like crazy. Okay, I might have spilled some water there. That means my hot water brush cleaner and then more brush soap and hot water working good on this brush. Okay, that's probably it. All right. It actually looks good now. Okay, good. try this one. It's probably got the same issues. Okay, this is a fairly clean brush. It's just that it doesn't, the okay, the bristles are coming together. Okay, that's I gotta leave the soap on that and let it soak and dry like that, so it'll have a point. Okay, well that is how I clean brushes. I normally boil the water, rinse them off basically, clean whatever I can with just straight boiling water, and then I'll use an acetone style cleaner. I'll clean the, I'll just let them soak in the acetone for a minute or two, and then I'll get some hot water with my brush wash. We'll clean it, and I'll get them to get to a fine tip, and I'll leave a slight residue of the soap on there to hold the form so that the brushes stay pointed, and then and when it dries it hardens up. So before you can use them to paint, you got to clean them off in the water or whatever, get that soap off. But that's not a problem, obviously, because I do that between every color anyway. All right, well that's where I'm going to end this live stream for tonight. I look forward to maybe live streaming on, not maybe, definitely live streaming on Tuesday for you guys during our Wargaming Weekly. This one was just a special edition because I felt like just turning the cameras on. And I'm still painting these Hungarians, but I think I'm going to put these down for the night. It's already 11 o'clock, so I don't think I'm going to be touching these for the rest of the night. But tomorrow, I think I'll be able to finish them. And then maybe That's Saturday. And then maybe Sunday, base them, flock them, and get them completely finished. And then Tuesday, if I still have them in my possession, which I might, and then I'll show you what the results were. All right, guys. See you next time.